So another Mish Mash Friday. Happy holidays to you all. Christmas has just passed. New Year's is right around the corner. I'm actually recording this before I set off on a bit of a trip. First part of the trip is just some family time, capturing moments and things like that. The second part of the trip, though, is actually really vacation. Christine and I are going to head down along the California coast, meet up with my brother, and take some photos here or there and just kind of generally enjoy ourselves. So I thought it would be interesting to take a few moments and share what I'm bringing along on the trip with me. And yeah, let's get started. So struggled for a while. I really wanted to bring the 70D and the 5D Mark III. I really like the 70D for its size and its walk around and its Wi-Fi abilities. But I'm trying not to bring everything in the kitchen sink. So the 5D Mark III does take nicer photos. You know, it's $2,000 more expensive of a camera. So I am bringing the 5D Mark III only as my only camera. And lenses that I'm going to bring are my 24-70 f2.8, the 70-200 f2.8. And I have to say, I've looked back at some of my favorite pictures of this past year, and many of them, including pictures, landscape-style pictures that you would think you would want a wide-angle lens for, many of them were taken with the 70-200. I think folks, including myself, often think that a wide-angle lens is the way to go for these beautiful photos. But the truth, more often than not, is it's very difficult to compose a nice, wide shot that doesn't just end up looking messy, because one of the really kind of key points in getting a great shot is to remove everything except what you want to be there, and with a nice zoom you can do that. And the 55-250 as well is a great zoom, especially for the money, and I think you'd be happy with that. And then the 40 for when I want to travel a little bit lighter. The 40 on there is just such a nice lens, and with that price that it is right now, is great. Two circular polarizers, again, will be along the California coast, bright, beachy water. Circular polarizers are really, really nice. I'm going to put a lot of links below this video to other things that I've talked about before, the two cases for the circular polarizers. I don't have one of those fancy filter holder cases. I have the 5D Mark III shoots with compact flash and or SD card, so I'm bringing along one big 64 gig compact flash card, and in the SD spot, to make up for not having the 70D with Wi-Fi, I'll bring along a little Wi-Fi card. And I have to say, even with the Wi-Fi and the 70D, I really love the simplicity of this. I have it set up for direct mode, I protect an image on the 5D Mark III, and it just comes across to the phone. I don't have to do any more thinking about it than that. But if there are times where I want to head out and for some reason I want to shoot with just an SD card, or maybe I want to record a quick video for you all, I haven't decided how much effort I'm going to put towards making videos for you all while I'm on vacation, but I'd like to make one or two. It's really nice to be able to do the SD card, because then I just slide it right in the MacBook. And then I have a little SanDisk right here with a little micro SD for the GoPro, which we'll get to in a minute. And that's a 32 gig, and it is the ultra size. I got this before this is the Extreme, and I've been very happy with it. And then one more spare compact flash card, just in case something terrible goes wrong with the other one. I've had trips where I've not taken enough memory, or I've lost a card on the trip. This is a long time ago, and having to run into someplace like Staples and paying a ridiculous amount for small cards when you can buy them on Amazon for much cheaper often is frustrating. I'll keep all of those memory cards in this little Gepe wallet safe. I've talked about these before. We use them at weddings. Waterproof, dustproof, really, really nice. The SDs can fit underneath the compact flash spot, so there's plenty of room for all of that in there. Not that I'm taking that much. I don't know what order I'm going in here, so let's back over to the left. One spare battery for the 5D Mark III and a battery charger, so there'll always be a spare battery ready, and hopefully it'll be charged up. Got this little flash bracket, and I might use this in a couple different ways, and honestly haven't used it at all yet, so I was a little skeptical about bringing it, but I thought I'm going to bring it along. One of the ways to use it is, we haven't got to this yet, but the GoPro stuff. So you can throw the GoPro on here, and then, using the little GoPro audio cord, I can throw up to the Zoom mic, which is sitting right here. And now it's going to sound weird because I'm picking it up and moving it around, and it is what's recording audio right now. So I'll be able to mount that up there with this little flash hot shoe mount, which is really nice. You can use it either up here, so it's sitting up there, or it can mount in the 5D Mark III's hot shoe for audio. So that is a nice option as well. So we'll see, and it can also go under the 5D Mark III, and the audio can be up there, and a flash can still be up there as well. So that's a little flash bracket that is useful. So while I'm holding these, I've got two GoPro housings. I've got the skeleton one for better audio, and I'm quite pleased with the audio straight out of the GoPro. You know, it works. It's not terrible. And then I have a waterproof housing in case I want to do any kind of more in the environment, in the water shots. So both of those housings are coming along. This, with the skeleton one, I have attached the tripod mount. I am going to also bring the head mount, and there's nothing more dorky looking than that. But I might want to bring it along. And going along with that is a little bike handlebar mount. We're going to be in San Francisco for a day or two. Folks say ride bikes across the San Francisco or the Golden Gate Bridge. I might want to mount my GoPro to the bike when I do that. This is a hefty little thing. It is not made by the GoPro folks. It's made by Minura, and I've been very happy with it. Used it for a couple of bike rides now. So I mentioned the GoPro. I've got the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. A great little camera. You know, some controversy right now about the way that they may have made this one sharper and whether or not they meant to sacrifice distance, or whether or not there was a batch of early ones that weren't as sharp. I've still been very happy with the quality of this. I would like to do some more testing, but for now I'm great. It's so small. It's so small, and the quality is quite amazing out of that small body. Battery life, however, isn't great, especially when you're using Wi-Fi. So bringing along, right now there is one spare, or there's one Wasabi in there. Here's another spare, and then here's the original GoPro battery. So 3 batteries for that. And I'm not bringing the charger though, so I will be just charging it in camera. And I think that will be just fine. I envision using that for some time lapses, driving along Route 1 on the California coast, and if I want to make some videos for you all. Nice little lens cleaning pouch. That's all it is. And it sits in there. That's great for cleaning off a variety of things. You know, when one of these isn't available, I use my shirt. It's fine. These lenses are tough. As long as your shirt isn't coated in sand and grime, and it's quite fine. I mentioned this in the last Mish Mash video. This is the FP gear. This was a Kickstarter project that someone alerted me about, and I funded. It's great because this is compatible with my little MiPhoto travel tripod, and it's got the bit that swings out from the bottom that makes it compatible with something like a Black Rapid strap. So this is nice because you can have this permanently attached to your camera. I will after this video. And when you want to carry it around with a Black Rapid strap, you flip that up, hook the Black Rapid into there. When you want to attach it to the tripod, you simply unhook it, flip it down, and it sits really nicely in the in the MiPhoto travel tripod. RAV Power, I did a video about this a while ago. This thing still remains a brick O power, 14,000 milliamp batteries. I'm going to be using this to keep my phone charged when I'm away from power, and the Nexus 7 2012 tablet when I'm away from power as well. A set of spare 4 in loops. They could be used in the flash. I'm going to bring along one 600. This is mostly, I imagine, for family time, getting nice shots. Again, external flash really makes a huge difference in the quality of your images. And I'll be able to use that in the Zoom mic as well. Little dead kitten for the top of the Zoom mic if I'm recording audio outside. It sits over top of the microphones there, and that will muffle any wind noises. Microphones are incredibly sensitive to wind noises if you don't have any kind of muffling device, and they call that a dead kitten. A monopod, something else that I wasn't sure I wanted to bring, but you know what, with the GoPro this is a lot of fun. This one I've added onto this little Manfrotto 234 super basic tripod head. Basically you can rotate like that. No left or right rotation, but if you mounted it on something you could do that. And mostly for selfies. You stick the GoPro on here, and then you can point it towards yourself way out there and get some really cool shots, both video and stills. So I am going to bring it along. It's going to be on the outside of the bag. I did have a recent flight where some lady said, "Excuse me, sir, is that a gun attached to your bag?" And it's just a monopod. Let's see, moving across, this guy. You know, another thing, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. I'm not sure if I want to bring it or not, but this is how I do a lot of my filming of the back of the camera with the GoPro. You know, mount the camera here, mount the GoPro here, and it very nicely can film the back. You can also do, this is how I use for side-by-side testing as well. So if I want to do any kind of, here's what I'm shooting shots, here's how I'm shooting it, you can see exactly what I'm seeing on the back of the camera. So I'll bring that along. The little Canon GPE2 GPS device. I am a little bit of a map nerd, love to see my images tagged on maps, and for me it's just another point of metadata. It's just another way that I can sort and organize photos and say, show me every picture I've taken in the last month in California, or in the last 5 days in the San Francisco area. And so with using Lightroom, you can filter that data and find it all, and this is really the no-think solution. It slides into the hot shoe of the camera. It does work with nothing more than sliding into the hot shoe of the camera with the 5D Mark III, the 70D, the T5i, the T4i, all of those, just slide it in. If you've got an older 7D, I think the 60D, then you do have to run a little cord out of it down into your device. Then you just turn it on, it runs off one AA battery. The downside is it is not cheap. And it does drain your own camera's battery by kind of keeping it awake inside even though it seems asleep, talking to it and keeping the GPS information updated, so you have to watch out for that. But I've had this now for I guess about 18 months, and I've been really, really happy with it. I love that, you know, once it gets a lock, it keeps that lock even once it goes in the bag and comes back out. One AA battery gives it a full day's usage. The Mi Photo Travel Tripod, I thought about bringing the Dolica, which I'm pointing to over in the corner, but you know, I want to keep that fairly clean for somebody because I'm going to be giving that away. And I'll just, you know, I'll just make a nice review of it instead. I love this mostly because it fits into my bag. Now, most of this is going to be going into a Think Tank backpack bag, and I'll show you that in just a moment as well. And what isn't going into there, and what will be my carry-around bag on some days, is this Think Tank Retrospective 10. I've been really happy with this. It fits my 5D Mark III with a 24-70 on and the 70-200 room in there, as well as room for a couple extras. It's comfortable, it's big. I don't think it screams camera bag, which is always kind of nice when you're carrying around expensive gear in cities. So that's how. And when I'm not using that bag, when I want to travel really light, it will be just the black rapid strap. But I have to say, more and more often, I'm keeping my gear in the bag. It feels protected in there, protected from the elements, protected from people's eyes, and I pull it out, take a picture, and then put it back in the bag. One of the nice things, a lot of bag makers are doing this, but Think Tank is, you've got these little Velcro straps up here, or Velcro spots, and you can have them in silent mode where they don't really stick. They're kind of covered. Or you can pull them out, and so when the bag is closed, it's a big deal to get stuff out. So you have an option of either way. And I like that, you know, when you're walking down a crowded street and there's a lot of noise, I like having the full Velcro on there. It makes me feel fairly secure. I'm going to hear somebody going after my stuff. I'm not really that paranoid about it, but, you know, I think about it from time to time. I mentioned the GoPro housings, the little audio bit, the little hot shoe. What's not pictured here is my MacBook Pro is going to come along with me. Again, mostly for family time. I think I could do without it during the vacation period. But during family time, there's some videos watch on it and some other things. So this little Logitech mouse, wireless mouse, runs off one AA battery. It's nice. This was on Lightning Deal back around or just before Thanksgiving, and so I picked it up. This is a 1 terabyte shockproof drive, USB 3, which is important to me because I had an older drive that actually was banged around a bunch enough that it was being kind of kept together by electrical tape. Not the best thing you want to use for your backup. But I need doing videos, shooting videos very quickly. The hard drive fills up, and so it's nice to be able to put videos on this. And being a USB 3.0 drive, it is fast enough to edit off without any issues. And so I saw that with my older drive. I think some of you all saw that too. I'd get some artifacts from time to time, and I think that's from the slower drive causing some problems as it's all going over. I talked about time lapses and drive lapses. This is this gecko mount. I've mentioned these before and shown them. Basically, it's a giant suction cup. Stick it to your windshield inside, and it's got a tripod mount on it. So when the GoPro's mounted on there, you can do that. I have hung a 5D Mark III from it before, and it stayed. I've never had any issues. It certainly has made me a little bit on the nervous side. Not nervous at all with the GoPro on there. That's incredibly light, and this thing feels very solid. But the 5D Mark III, when you've got a lens on it, we're talking 3 solid pounds, and that feels like a lot to be hanging off one. They make a double as well. Please don't be sticking any of this outside your car. You need permits for that often. I mean, you can do it, but you could get into some trouble. So, and plus, if it fell off, you'd be in bad shape. If it falls off in the car, it's probably going to land on somebody's knee, and that's about it. Little USB charging bit. Trigger trap. Love this, so I'll be able to use this with the Nexus. I've talked about this before. One end goes into a smartphone or tablet, the other end goes into your camera, and suddenly you have a very intelligent time-lapse capable device, and that's just one of the ways that you can trigger your camera through time, through sound, tons of different options, long exposure HDR, so that gives you a lot of options, and so I'm going to bring that along as well. Various USB cords. Right now I've got the little USB host in here if I want to use DSLR controller. That's nice when I can set up, you've seen me do that before, set up the camera's looking at me and I can see on my screen everything you can see, and I can make changes to the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO, all from the tablet, so that will come along too. And then a nice long audio cord. Usually I connect and wire something like the Zoom straight to the camera, but in this case, I'm not doing that, and that gives me an option. And also I have a shorter, there's actually 2 in here. I have a shorter one that will allow me to use the little GoPro mount. One of the things I noticed about the GoPro, so this is this little microphone adapter, way overpriced, but what other options do you have if you want better audio out of here? When it's plugged in here, then you plug in the standard little audio cable. You can also power this through that same port while you're recording. Be careful if you're doing video, because as soon as you plug anything in, it believes that you've plugged a mic in. And if it's a battery you've plugged in, your sound is going to be non-existent. So I've run into that before where I thought it was recording sound and I was powering it and it wasn't recording any sound at all. And that makes it hard to sync up later. Very important, my little action figure. You know, every once in a while I think I want to take some pictures with this guy and end up just taking regular pictures, but I still bring him along because he's fun, he's cool, he's some action figure from some set I had ages ago. He looks quite dated, but I like it. And so that's it. I said I was also going to show you the bag that this is all going to go in, so let me show you that now. Alright, so this is all going to fit into this Airport Antidote version 2. I don't think they make this bag anymore, but this is a nice size. Maybe what I'll do is start to pack it up and take another shot of it all packed up in here. What isn't going to fit in here will go into that Think Tank retrospective. Now, both of these bags are going to go on carry-on with me. I'm not going to check these bags. I would check my mother before I... No, I'm just kidding. But all of this camera gear stays with me. Sometimes some of the little extra bits, the cables and stuff, I'm fine packing those up in the suitcase. But all the rest of this gear stays with me, especially the cards after I've taken pictures. There's no price, no way to replace those price-wise. All right. So the other thing that I'd like to talk about, but I'm running out of time. Sorry. The other thing that I'd like to talk about, but I'm running out of time, is planning for a trip like this. So I'm going along the California coast. I know there's some beautiful places, and I'd like to talk more about that in the future. But the general idea is, or my approach is to start with Google Maps. Google Maps collects those images. You can go down a street view in some of these locations, and you can just kind of look around. So I start with that, but then kind of create my own Google Map from that and start to place these little pinpoints and say, all right, good place, good spot. And think about time of day. And that's one of the tough things about vacationing is you kind of want to relax. But if you're vacationing and your goal is to take really nice photos, remember those golden hours, those early mornings, late evenings. Those are going to be the times where you're going to get these incredible pictures out of these incredible locations. At midday, it is much harder. You got the bright, kind of harsh, flat light that really takes a lot of the depth out of the images. And so you want to avoid that. And so you want to plan while still having some vacation time and some relaxation time around those times of day. So I hope this was helpful. Another Mish Mash video kind of what I'm taking along on this trip. If you've got any questions about anything you've seen here, I'll start to build the links up. But if you say, just remind me, say you said you were going to put a link about, or can I find out more about something like the MePhoto Travel Tripod, which I really like. Just leave a comment down below or come over and find me on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching and Happy New Year.